Welcome to the Sally Harris Show, where moms with estranged adult children find faith, healing, and the courage to rise again. Today, I have a question that was submitted. I'm going to do another Q&A here today on the topic of, I'll read the question to you. I know this is going to apply to many of you. I am estranged from my child, but they still need and expect financial support. Shouldn't financial support come from a place of relationship? Well, I think that's a great question. And I believe that those two words, need and expect, we need to take a look at both of those, right? So I'm a firm believer as far as, is someone enabling or are we just helping? There's a difference there. When you are helping someone who's able to help themselves or helping someone who is helping themselves, let's say, for example, you have a child who is out there working. Maybe they're not making quite enough money, but they're busting it, right? Like they're working hard. Maybe they're in school. They're doing the best that they can. I believe fully that if we are able and it doesn't put a hindrance on our budget, that we help our kids if we're able, right? And they're doing the thing. The problem comes in with some of our children who are really just taking a pause. And I have a lot of clients whose kids are home playing video games. They're not working. They have no desire to work, but they expect mom and dad to foot the bill. I'm not okay with that because we are hindering them from their own independence. We're not empowering them at all to get out there and, find some resilience and figure out what they want to do with their life. Another thing too that I wanted to mention is, am I supporting a genuine need or am I preventing them from becoming independent? So now some of you have children who do have like a medical need or something like that. That's different in my opinion. So I think the difference here is the expectation versus the need. So some of your kids do have the expectation that you are going to let them continue to go on to different colleges and different degrees, and they're going to be a full-time student forever and ever, amen. And they're wanting and expecting you to foot the bill. Some of your kids are refusing to work while they're in school. Now that is a luxury, right? That's a luxury. Most kids need to work, even a part-time job. Let them have some skin in the game, because if they have no skin in the game, they have no real reason to get up and do the thing because they know that they could fall back on you. Now, some of your kids carry that, dangle that carrot of the relationship over you because maybe you're saying no to something, or maybe they start being really verbally abusive towards you, or, start walking away from the family and say, well, basically like, you need to support me. I'm your daughter. I'm your son. That's not realistic, right? Now, there's mental health challenges, there's physical challenges, different things that maybe some of your kids are experiencing. And with that, again, it's case by case basis. So without knowing exactly what the situation is per se, in this case, I do believe that financial support does come from a relationship to a certain degree. In other words, I've seen a lot of moms who will contact me and they'll say they're funding their child's full ride, to school, and the child refuses to even talk to them, like for long periods of time. I'm not talking about just an argument and they're, stepped away for a few weeks. I'm talking months or years, and the mom and the parents are still paying college education for someone who refuses to talk to you. I wouldn't do that in a million years. That's my opinion. I think that is just complete expectation that you owe them something. Now, that might have been the plan. That was the plan that maybe you had agreed on, and something happened, and you don't want your child to not be able to go finish school or anything like that. I see all the time too is we have entitlement. When our kids snap their fingers and we say how much and then we give it to them, don't expect that to change. It might not be college education at that point. Maybe they graduate and then you give them a little room to grow and figure out what they want to do. It'll be on to the next thing. Now you need to fund this or you need to fund that. How long do you want to keep doing it? That would be my question to many of you, because I know a lot of you are dealing with this, which is why I felt this was such a great question. You are not responsible for funding their life literally over the age of 18. I know 18's in the eyes of the law and the military and everywhere else, it's this magic number. You and I, as parents, know that that's not a magic number. Most of our kids are not ready for this world at 18, but we get them to the best of our ability. We get them to that point, and then they need to figure some of this stuff out on their own. It doesn't mean we don't help. So don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that we don't ever help them. I'm just saying we need to be careful with the entitlement piece, because I see this on a daily basis with clients, and I would not want to be there. I would not want to be there, because at some point it needs to be cut. And is your child going to walk away when you start withdrawing? Possibly, maybe for a little while. I don't know. But what's it doing to you in the process? And some of you moms don't have the budget for that anyway. But then again, even if you do, I still don't think you should be doing it, because they have this expectation on you. And where does it end? Like I said, so you're going to have, that would be one question I would ask. Like, what are you willing to fund? I do have some clients who will, they'll pay for medications or that type of thing. Like, I'm not funding your rent. I'm not funding your car payment, but I will cover some health insurance or medications or real necessities. But our kids have to have some skin in the game. I'm just curious, many of you moms, I would love to hear from you guys. Like, didn't you have some skin in the game? I know I did. My parents were amazing and they helped me a lot. But if they would have just handed me everything, what would I have learned? And I always go back to that. And maybe you need to ask yourself that question too. Those of you that are struggling with this, is like, what would that have looked like when you were growing up? What would that have done to you, regardless of your parents? Like, what would that have done to you if everything was handed to you on a silver platter? In our minds, I think right away we think, oh, life would have been so much easier. But is it? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it is important that we are not motivated to give by fear or guilt. And many of you moms are dealing with the fear and or guilt from your kids to continue to fund their life. I've had some clients tell me that their kids have said, you had me. It's your responsibility to fund my life. You and I both know that that's not realistic, but really focusing on, is this creating a healthy dependence on you or an unhealthy dependence on you? So it's really asking yourself some tough questions. So I think that kind of answers the question, but just remember also that love and money are not the same thing. Just because you pull the finances doesn't mean you don't love your kids. Now, they may not feel love because right now that's how they're seeing you, because you're continuing to provide when maybe you shouldn't be, or maybe cutting back. And there's a lot of times for moms who are enabling, we don't just cut the cord. We need to give them fair warning and start pulling it back month by month. I'm unless there's addiction, I'm all in agreement for that. If there's addiction, we got to be really mindful, because really you're funding their drugs, you're funding their alcohol, you're funding whatever that is. So we don't obviously want to do that. So I hope that helps you today. Hopefully that answered your question. If you want to submit a question, you can email us at team@sally-harris.com. And hopefully we'll be sharing your question on the show again soon. Thank you and God bless.